At a wedding we attended, my wife leaned over to her friend and whispered that, given the chance, she'd still choose her ex over me. I didn't say a word, but I heard every single syllable. Let me paint you the picture. It was last Saturday at my cousin Mike's wedding. The ceremony was stunning, the bar was open, the whole 9 yards. Lisa and I had been married for 6 years. We were seated at table 12, right beside her college friend Amanda and Amanda's husband, Steve. Lisa thought she was being discreet when she leaned in during the father-daughter dance. God, watching this just makes me think about what could have been, she murmured. If I had it to do over, I'd still pick Marcus over him. Marcus, her college ex, the guy she'd dated for 3 years before we ever met. I was sitting 2 feet away, but she assumed the music drowned out her voice. It didn't. I kept my expression blank, finished my drink, and didn't react. I didn't confront her. I just tucked that revelation away and kept smiling. The rest of the wedding carried on as usual. We danced, we drank, we made small talk with the other guests. Lisa acted like nothing had happened. She laughed at my jokes, held my hand during the speeches, played the part of the perfect wife, but I couldn't shake what she'd said. The next morning, over coffee, I decided to test the waters. That was a beautiful wedding yesterday, I said casually. Made me reflect on our own. Lisa smiled. Yeah, it was lovely, though ours was even better. Really? I pressed. No regrets about how things turned out? She gave me a strange look. Regrets? About what? I don't know. Different choices. Different people. Lisa reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Of course not. I married exactly who I was meant to marry. The lie rolled off her tongue so effortlessly. She looked me straight in the eye and didn't hesitate. That told me everything I needed to know about where we truly stood. Over the following weeks, I started noticing things I'd overlooked before. The way she always seemed distracted when we talked. The way she'd grown secretive with her phone. The way she suddenly mentioned Amanda more often, always needing to catch up with her old friend. 3 weeks after the wedding, Lisa announced Amanda was coming over for one of their girls' nights. Sounds fun, I said. I'll make myself scarce. You don't have to leave, she insisted. We're just drinking wine and gossiping. No, you two should have privacy, I replied. I'll catch up on some work in the garage. That evening, I set up my laptop in the garage workshop, which shares a wall with our kitchen. The previous owner had cut corners on construction, and sound traveled easily between the rooms, a fact I'd discovered years ago when the neighbor's dog kept me up at night. Amanda arrived around 8 with wine. They started in the kitchen, chatting about work and mutual friends, normal stuff. But as the wine took effect, Amanda steered the conversation toward relationships. So, how are things with you and David? Fine. Same as always. That doesn't sound very enthusiastic. Lisa sighed. It's not that anything's wrong. David's a good husband. He's responsible. He treats me well. He's stable. But is stable enough? Amanda asked. Like at Mike's wedding. Watching him and Sarah, they looked so passionate. When's the last time we felt that way? Marriage changes over time, Amanda said. The passion fades. I know that. But what if it was never really there to begin with? A long pause. What do you mean? What if I married David for the wrong reasons? What if I chose him because he was safe? Not because I couldn't imagine my life without him. Are you thinking about someone else? Another pause. Sometimes I think about Marcus, about what might have happened if his parents hadn't interfered. Lisa, that was over 10 years ago. I know. But Marcus and I had something real, something intense. With David, it's always felt more like a partnership than a love story. They moved to the living room after that, and I couldn't make out the details anymore. But I'd heard enough. The wedding whisper wasn't just nostalgia, it was the truth about how she felt about our marriage. Amanda left around 11. When Lisa came to bed, she was more affectionate than usual, probably guilt. The next morning, I called my lawyer, Tom Bradley. Tom, I need to ask about divorce procedures. Hypothetically? Nothing's hypothetical when you're asking your lawyer about divorce. What's the situation? My wife isn't happy. She's not cheating, but she's emotionally checked out, still in love with her ex. Do you have evidence? She admitted it to a friend. I overheard. That's tricky. Overheard conversations can be messy in court, especially if you were eavesdropping. What if she admitted it to me directly? That'd be stronger. But David, are you sure you want to end this? Have you considered counseling? I can't work on a marriage with someone who wishes she'd married someone else. Fair enough. If you move forward, try to get her to admit her feelings first. If she wants out, we can do an amicable divorce. If she fights it, things get ugly. Over the next month, I gave Lisa every chance to be honest. I brought up counseling. I asked if she was happy. I suggested a romantic weekend. Every time she deflected or gave me hollow reassurances. Meanwhile, I quietly prepared for divorce, organizing financial records, changing my direct deposit, copying important documents. If Lisa wanted to keep pretending, I'd be ready when the facade finally cracked. The crack came in early November. Lisa mentioned Amanda was hosting a dinner party. She invited both of us, she said. Just a casual thing with a few couples. Sounds good. What I didn't know was that Amanda had grown uncomfortable with Lisa's confessions. Their girls' nights had turned into Lisa's therapy sessions, and Amanda was tired of being the only one who knew how miserable Lisa was. Steve told me this later. Amanda had been venting to him, feeling trapped in the middle. She liked me, thought I was a good guy, and hated knowing Lisa was living a lie. When Lisa started talking about reaching out to Marcus on social media, Amanda decided enough was enough. The dinner party was her intervention. She'd invited 2 other couples we knew, hoping a group setting might push Lisa to be honest. We arrived Friday night to find 6 others already there. Amanda had made her famous lasagna, and Steve was mixing drinks. Normal dinner party vibes until Amanda steered the conversation toward marriage and honesty. Steve and I were just discussing this, she said. How do you handle it when your spouse isn't completely honest about their feelings? The other couples shared their thoughts. Most agreed small white lies were normal, but big issues needed openness. What about you, Lisa? Amanda asked directly. Do you think spouses should share their doubts? Lisa shifted uncomfortably. There's a difference between sharing concerns and dumping every negative thought on your partner. But what if those thoughts are about the marriage itself? Amanda pressed. I'm talking about the fact that you've spent the last 2 months telling me you're unhappy and wish you'd made different choices. And I think David deserves to know. The table fell silent. Everyone sensed the explosion coming. Lisa's face went pale. Amanda, don't. I'm sorry, but I can't keep pretending everything's fine when you've told me repeatedly you think you married the wrong person. You're taking this out of context. Am I? Amanda shot back. 3 weeks ago you told me you were thinking about reaching out to Marcus. Last week you said you were considering what it'd be like to be single again. Lisa stood abruptly, tears welling. Stop, just stop. I won't stop. This isn't fair to anyone. David deserves the truth and you deserve to stop living a lie. Lisa looked at me, desperate. David, she's exaggerating. Yes, I've had doubts, but every married person does sometimes. Doubts about whether you married the right person? I asked quietly. Lisa started to speak, then stopped. She glanced around at the staring faces, then back at me. I don't know how to answer that. Sure you do. It's a yes or no question. She sat back down, crying harder. Yes, she whispered. Sometimes I wonder if I married the right person. And Marcus, are you planning to contact him? Lisa wiped her eyes. I looked at his Facebook. I thought about it, but I didn't. Because you knew it was wrong, or because you haven't worked up the courage yet? Because I knew it was wrong. But you still wanted to. Yes. The room was dead silent. Even Amanda looked like she regretted her intervention now that it was happening. Lisa, I said carefully, I appreciate the honesty. Finally. But I can't stay married to someone who wishes they'd married someone else. David, wait. Just because I have doubts doesn't mean. It means exactly what it means. You think you married the wrong person. You're still in love with your ex. You've been lying to me for months, maybe years. Lisa was crying steadily now. I do love you, just not the way I loved him. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. I stood up. I think we should go home and figure out how to handle this. Lisa nodded, still crying. We said awkward goodbyes and drove home in silence. Inside, Lisa curled up on the couch. I poured myself a drink and sat across from her. How long have you felt this way? I don't know, maybe always, a little. But it got worse after Mike's wedding. Watching him and Sarah, seeing how they looked at each other, it made me realize what's missing between us. Why didn't you tell me? What was I supposed to say? Hey, I think I married you for the wrong reasons and I'm still in love with my ex. Yes, exactly that. Because then we could have worked on it or ended it honestly, instead of you living a lie and making me live one too. Lisa looked at me through her tears. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I am. What do you want to do now? She was quiet for a long time. I don't think there's any coming back from this. You'll never trust me again. And honestly, I don't know if I can stop wondering what if. So we get divorced. The next morning, Lisa packed a bag and went to her sister's while we sorted out the logistics. I called Tom. What changed? She finally told me the truth. How bad was it? She's been living a lie for 6 years, still in love with her ex, considers me a mistake, has been thinking about contacting him. Ouch. At least she was honest. That should make the divorce straightforward. It did. Lisa didn't contest anything. We split everything 50-50, sold the house, and filed for no-fault divorce. The whole process took 4 months. I heard through friends that Lisa reached out to Marcus after the divorce. Turns out he was married with kids and had no interest in revisiting the past. Lisa moved to another city and started over. Amanda and Steve invited me to dinner a few months later. Amanda apologized for how she'd handled things. I should have talked to Lisa privately first, she said. The dinner party was too dramatic. Maybe, I replied. But it worked. I got the truth, even if it wasn't pretty. Are you angry with me? No. You were right. I deserved to know. Lisa never would have told me on her own. Steve raised his glass. To messy friends who tell the truth when it matters. To moving on, I said. 6 months later, I met Jennifer at a work conference. She was recently divorced too, with 2 kids and no patience for pretense. We took things slow, but from our first conversation, I could tell the difference. She looked at me the way Lisa had looked at Marcus in her memories. The way someone looks at you when you're their first choice, not their safe choice.